Mission Dorothy podcast with your hostess, Tamika's Williams. Hey, and thank you so much for joining me today at Mission Dorothy, the podcast. So today we're going to continue on with our 8 Dimensions of Wellness series. And today we are going to discuss emotional wellness. So in our last session, we talked about, or shall I say episode, sorry, that's a habit of mine as a therapist, in our last session, but really in our last session, we covered physical wellness and we covered some of the goals when it comes to physical wellness. So today I wanted to go over a few of the goals when it comes to emotional wellness. Our emotional wellness is key to our mental and physical balance. And so we know that sometimes our physical ailments can manifest out of our mental not being as healthy as possible, right? So that mental can manifest physically. And so today, let's talk about it. So goals for emotional wellness. So emotional wellness is defined as coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. So remember, we're using the 8 dimensions of wellness. This is a great way for you to, check in with yourself periodically to see if you are in balance mentally, emotionally, and emotional wellness is definitely one of these 8 dimensions. So our first goal when it comes to emotional wellness is to become more aware of your feelings and accept them as valid indicators of what you are experiencing. So if you listen to my 6 pillars of self-esteem episode, I think it was the first one, which is living consciously. When we talk about living consciously, we talk about making sure that we are not denying ourselves the reality of our truth or of our thoughts and our decisions as well as our life. And so when we talk about emotional wellness and becoming more aware of your feelings, like a lot of times people will push their feelings down, utilize avoidance and not deal with them. You also have people who attach weakness to emotions and so many other negative behaviors when it comes to dealing with your feelings. It's important for you to understand your feelings. And also, I want you guys too to understand it's so much more than just mad, sad, angry. When it comes to feeling words, we have an array of words that can be utilized. And so I want you guys to really take some time to go and check out a feelings wheel so that you can see the plethora of other emotions that we feel so that you can really be able to express your feelings to the best of your ability. So understanding the vast different types of emotions we have is definitely key to being able to actually be aware, but really to communicate our feelings. And so that's definitely important. I also want you to think about your partners, your friends, your family, and those types of things as well, because it's very important for us to express our feelings to others. Often we have individuals who may, put other people's needs before them. You may have someone in your life who, does not take stock of your feelings, right? They just kind of like push past your feelings and maybe make it about them. And so the goal here is for you to be able to stand up for yourself because, hey, who's going to stand up for your feelings outside of you? You know what I'm saying? Yes, we have other people in our life who would be willing to chime in, but nobody can really understand what we're feeling but us to the T. You know what I'm saying? People can kind of feel, people can kind of have an idea, but no one really knows outside of you and the Lord. And so the second part of this is accept them as valid indicators of what you are experiencing. So if you're experiencing some sadness, if you're, if you're experiencing, just different emotions, whether it's joy, fear, overwhelm. Like, there are so many different emotions, you know what I'm saying, that we can feel, whether it's jealousy or you're feeling humiliated or, surprised or passionate or isolated. Like, there are so many different feeling words we can utilize. And so, accept them as an indicator, right? So if you're feeling jealous, check in with yourself to see what is making you feel jealous, right? What is stopping you from being inspired by another person, and instead that inspiration is being identified as jealousy? So you definitely want to, explore that deeper when it comes to expressing your emotions and being aware of your emotions. So once again, become more aware of your feelings and accept them as valid indicators of what you are experiencing. If you're feeling something, dig deep in that so you can figure out, what am I experiencing here? You know what I'm saying? That one is key. Like, all of these will be key, but this one is really important for you to be aware of your feelings, especially when we go to have a conversation with someone that we care about. And if our feelings are sitting in a negative place and we're coming from hurt, pain, or envy, jealousy, and those types of things, make sure you check in with yourself first before you approach someone else, so that you can make sure that you are, being open and honest with your feelings, but also making sure that you can, express them properly without aggressiveness if it's not needed, right? All right, so our second goal is develop the ability to experience and appropriately express a wide range of emotions, such as humor or joy, fear, anger, frustration, appreciation, sadness, etc. And so these, it all goes hand in hand, right? So when we go back to the emotion wheel, right, we want to make sure that we develop the ability to experience and appropriately express our feelings to others as well as to ourselves. Sometimes we have to have them sidebar conversations with ourselves. And, in order to just sometimes figure things out, work things out with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Instead of picking up the phone, calling somebody else, getting somebody else's view of things, sit with yourself first, right? Sit with yourself first. And then, once you can kind of like figure things out a little bit more, have a little bit more clarity, then you can solicit, the advice of another. So those two kind of go hand in hand. So I don't think it's a need for me to go any deeper into this. I do want to make this episode a little shorter. And so, so just making sure you have the ability to express those emotions appropriately. So really, y'all, just Google feeling wheel, and you will definitely see that there are so many other feelings that we feel, and we barely utilize those terms. Our next goal for emotional wellness is develop assertiveness and confrontation skills. Yes, indeed. So assertiveness is key because, when you're not assertive, you're either passive, or you could be passive aggressive, right? And so you definitely want to make sure that you are able to stand up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, being assertive definitely means showing a level of confidence and, being able to be bold, assured, and have this confidence. So assertiveness is the ability to be able to stand up for yourself without a shadow of a doubt, with confidence. You know what I'm saying? With boldness. And, it's definitely a skill set that you really want to work to have. For those who tend to people please or put other people's feelings ahead of yours, you're more passive, right? And those who can be nice, nasty, you're more passive aggressive. So definitely assertive is key when we talk about emotional wellness, because there are too many manipulators and people who are, narcissistic and, definitely want to manipulate basically. And it's key for us to be able to be assertive so that we can make sure that we are taking care of ourselves by standing up for ourselves. So I do want to go in a little deeper when we talk about passive, assertive, and aggressive. So just an example, so let's just say passive is too scared to say what you think. Right? So you're too scared to say what you think because you're worried about what somebody else is going to say. You're worried about being judged. You're worried about hurting somebody else's feelings. And you're just putting yourself on the back burner. That's being passive. Assertive is expressing yourself clearly and confidently. Right? So you're not scared. You're not worried about what other people are going to think. You're not shying away from stepping up and taking up for yourself. And then we have aggressive. Aggressive expresses self with aggression and irritation and anger, right? So you have, someone that it really does not take all the extra, right? The extra anger, the pettiness, the messiness, the aggression and the irritation. And so that's how people come off aggressive, is expressing themselves with negativity added. So you definitely want to work to be more assertive. And so when we talk about, this thing about confrontation skills, we want to make sure that we clearly understand that. So when we think about what is confrontation, like confrontation ranges from argument to debate to healthy discussion. Right? So you can have some positive confrontation. Sometimes you do have to confront people about things. And so it's on a scale, right? So you can have, like I said, from argument, then it could be a debate, or it can be a healthy discussion. Or shall I go the other way? Healthy discussion, then it can also be a debate, and then that debate can turn into an argument. So confrontation, it ranges that way. It can look and sound very different depending on your approach as well when it comes to confrontation. Sometimes people feel like they're being assertive, but it's literally coming off as confrontational. And so the goal here is, you want to be able to bring something to light that wouldn't have been talked about or maybe solved, right? So that's the goal of confrontation. You want to bring something up that you would like to talk about and possibly solve. And we can have a confrontation where we're just stepping to someone and having a conversation, but we can also have a more aggressive confrontation where we're stepping to someone and we're going off, right? We cussing them out, we're name calling, we're being very aggressive, negative, negative Betty, and, just doing the most, right? With anger, hostility, and irritation. So we definitely want to be able to, we definitely want to be able to be confrontational, but we also want to make sure that we're being, mindful when we are being confrontational. Is it a positive confrontation or is it negative? Right? So when we think about like confrontation skills, it's we definitely want to be clear about what it is we're trying to address, right? We want to definitely be clear about what we're trying to address, when it comes to confrontation skills, right? So when we talk about confrontation skills, we want to, take a look at a couple of things, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to confrontation. So first we want to look at, being mindful. Is it the negative or positive, right? You don't want to react to somebody else's negativity. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when somebody come up to us and they're being defensive, we will meet them in that defensive mindset. You know what I'm saying? So be mindful and don't be reactive, right? Instead, think about what it is that you want to say versus reacting off of emotions, because that's when everything starts to get chaotic. We also want to work to make sure that we have a clear understanding of what our rapport is with the other person. So if it's a good rapport, then we should be able to have a decent conversation. But if the rapport is bad, then we already know that they're going to show up with the defensiveness, right? And so we will have to work to control our defensiveness and, and not meet them in that negativity. We also want to practice empathy, for ourselves as well as for the other person as well. Try to hear them out, even if you don't agree with what it is that they're saying, but still, trying to hear them out. And we want to also make sure that we continue to stand up for ourselves, our rights, no matter what the situation is, but just be mindful, assertive, passive aggressive, which one are you going to be, right? And so we're working to be our best selves and our most authentic self. Now, let's keep it real. There are times when you just got to get with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just going to end up getting a little lit and you're going to meet them in that defensiveness. And so, sometimes it's inevitable, but we want to try our best to choose wisely and not go there. We really don't have to go there. And then last, I want you to focus on what you can control, right? And the only thing you can control is you. You cannot control other people. You cannot control other people's perceptions. You can only control you. Okay. And then I also want you to think about, when it comes to confrontation, is just, try not to take everything personally. Right? That's one of the 4 agreements, right? Try not to take everything personal. So, this is just another person's perception. You don't have to buy into it. They have the right to how they see things. They may be sharing that with you. And, you really don't have to take it personal. Take what you want, throw away what you don't want. Right? We want to also think about establishing boundaries when we talk about conflict as well. It's important for us to set our boundaries, but it's not just that we need to set the boundaries, but we need to uphold the boundaries, right? So when we talk about confrontation, we want to make sure that when we're dealing with difficult people, we want to be able to set the proper boundaries when it comes to, whatever the situation is and whoever the person may be. Okay. All right. Next, we have develop positive feelings about yourself by instituting healthy self-esteem and self-concept. And so we definitely want to be clear about the difference between self-esteem and self-concept, right? The two sound alike, but they are definitely different. So if we look at self-esteem, self-esteem, it refers to the judgments and evaluations we make about our self-concept, right? While our self-concept is a broad description of the self, right? It's a broad description of you. Self-esteem is more specifically an evaluation of yourself. So you're just evaluating yourself when it comes to self-esteem, but your self-concept is clearly a broad description of who you are, right? How you see yourself. You understand what I'm saying? I hope that that's clear. The two, they kind of how do I say, they connect in a way, because the self-concept is also made up of a combination of self-esteem and your self-image, how you see yourself. So we have self-image is how you see yourself. Your self-esteem is more specifically your evaluation of self, and then your self-concept refers to the broader view of you. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely want to make sure that we have develop positive feelings about ourselves. We don't want to have an adversarial relationship with ourselves. Yes, we make mistakes. Yes, we might not be at our best all the time, or we may be working on ourselves through a self journey. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have positive outlook about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When our outlook is negative about ourselves, it shows in our behaviors, with, like I said, putting other people in front of you, meaning, disregarding your own feelings for others, allowing other people to use you as a doormat, constantly pouring from an empty vessel, self-sacrificing yourself, not taking care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not happy with your weight or, any kind of physical ailments with your body. And it's like, you can still have some kind of positive feelings about yourself. We all have our own hangups, but our hangups should not outweigh the love that we have for ourselves. So definitely develop positive feelings about yourself by making sure, that you have healthy self-esteem and self-concept. So I definitely want you guys to go and research the difference between self-esteem and self-concept, right? I'm giving you guys the goals, but your homework is to go and dig deeper into these goals and how you can apply this to your life. I'm trying not to make my episodes too long because I want you guys to listen regularly. But y'all know I could be long-winded. But anywho, I'm trying to fly through this because I have a client coming up. So our next goal is develop the skills to handle stress, irritations, crises, etc. So instead of just freaking out when you overstressed or you irritated or it's a crisis, you have to develop the skill sets to be able to handle stress. And so definitely it's important for us to be able to handle stress in the most healthiest way, because stress definitely can cause some physical ailments, and it can also cause us to make some bad decisions during stressful times, right? And then let's not talk about the coping mechanisms, the unhealthy coping mechanisms, that many can have, you know what I'm saying, when they become stressed, like, drinking some wine or some hard liquor, you know what I'm saying? Smoking some weed, sex, shopping, so many things, you know what I'm saying, that individuals can do for negative coping mechanisms, negative self-talk, feeding into the negative thoughts. So stress management is definitely key, and, it's key to your wellness. You know what I'm saying? And so stress management, it can include skills that let you attain balance, such as, when we think about like prioritization, you know what I'm saying? When we're unorganized or when we're not prioritizing stuff, that can become stressful. Healthy coping strategies. We definitely want to have those healthy coping strategies, as I spoke about just a minute ago when we talked about stress management. We want to have some relaxation techniques as well to calm us down, some good meditations. There's a great one. It's called Simply Being on the Insight Timer. That's INSIGHT. It's a 5-minute meditation that helps to like reset and reboot you. We also have positive self-talk that we can utilize for stress management. Of course, therapy is always great. Exercise, traveling, time management, And of course, we can go on and on. So we definitely want to make sure, you know what I'm saying, that we have some healthy coping mechanisms when we talk about stress management. So definitely that is important to your emotional wellness when it comes to learning how to have proper skills in order to deal with stress and crises and irritations. Now, one thing I do want you to think about with irritations is irritation always come before mad and explosive. So I want you to start thinking about that irritation and aggravation as a warning sign for you to start utilizing your coping skills in that moment. Don't wait until you get to mad or explosive. When you start feeling aggravated, irritated, you know, that leg start to shaking, you start feeling hot, you get the stuttering, you know, different people have different body signs that lets them know that they're headed to mad and explosive. So think about irritation as your warning sign, and it's your last one. And so just make sure that you kick in with those coping skills when it comes to irritation. Now, when it comes to crises, I just definitely want you guys to make sure that you have some sort of emergency contacts for anything, not just for work and that type of stuff, but just somebody that you know you can call if something happens and you need to kind of talk and process some things quick. And so make sure that you have your person, you know, that you can turn to during crises. Our next goal for emotional wellness is explore and clarify your own sexual identity. And so when we talk about emotional wellness, we all know that, you know, there are many people who are still living in the closet, you know, living their life according to their parents or afraid of what society is going to think. And, you know, this is really key when it comes to your emotional wellness and the LGBT plus community. And so, you know, we all want to be free. We want to live the way that we want to live. And, you know, it's important for us to all be clear about our own sexual identity. So whether it's polyamory, lesbian, bisexual, binary, asexual, like be clear about where you stand. That way you won't have so much emotional imbalance because you're allowing fear to lead, right? So definitely explore. And if you're in a heterosexual or homosexual relationship, like be clear about your sexual needs. You know what I'm saying? Like be clear about what you like in the bed. Tell your partner, educate your partner, teach your partner. We all want to have some extraordinary sex out here. And honestly, honey, I think about 70% of us out here is not having good sex. You know what I'm saying? It's just a task instead of a emotional connection with the person you're with. When you can emotionally connect, as we talk about emotional wellness, then it magnifies the sensuality when it comes to, you know, the sex, and it magnifies the orgasm as well. And so, child, I could talk about this all day. We're gonna have to have us some sex talks. Yes. And so it's so key because, you know, we're in these relationships and it's just important for us to have clarity when it comes to sexual identity as well as sexual preference in the bedroom, right? There are too many people who are having sexual problems in their relationship. A lot of people are just doing what they used to do with their last partner instead of asking their partner, what do they like? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that people may not like. And if your last partner loved something, your current partner might not like it at all. So really explore that and be clear about your sexual identity and needs as well as your partner's. And then last, when we talk about emotional wellness, is develop, establish, and maintain intimate and loving relationships. Oh, I can't tell you guys how often I hear women say, oh, I don't fool with other women. Let me tell you something. If you have had issues with friendships and all your friendships, you might want to look in the mirror, because the common denominator there is you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm just being real. Y'all know how I am. I try to my bit. I keep it authentic. Like, really. Look in the mirror, because maybe there are some adjustments that you need to make to your personality, to your ability to be supportive to others. And so you definitely want to be clear about what it is that you bring to the table when it comes to friendships, romantic ships, family ships, work ships. You know what I'm saying? You want to develop and establish and maintain these intimate and loving relationships. Now, intimate and loving is those that are in your inner circle, right? We're talking about them in your inner circle. When you have good people in your life, you want to make sure that you guys are able to properly communicate. Even when you don't agree on things, the goal is to not be adversarial with each other. The goal is to be adults and have adult conversation. Don't ghost people. Don't just fall off. Like, help people to understand why you may have ended a friendship or a relationship or that type of thing. Now, yes, some people will still may not get it, right? When you probably have already told them that, but at the end of the day, I just believe that it's good to teach people so that they could do better in the next relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I think ghosting is very disrespectful. And so, having intimate and loving relationships is key, because we all need support. We all need people we can trust. We all need people that is going to celebrate accomplishments with us. We all need someone who can help to nurture us during sad and bad times. We also need individuals in our lives that we can learn from, that we can grow with, that we can, be able to get the truth from. You know what I'm saying? So definitely when we talk about emotional wellness, we want to make sure that we are having those intimate and quality relationships. Now, if you know that relationship is causing you more harm than good, more stress than a little bit, then really sit with yourself and be honest with yourself. Because sometimes, even though somebody may have been in your life for a long time, sometimes the season ends. You know what I'm saying? So I just want you guys to be real with yourself. The season ends. And also, everybody don't have to be intimate, right? They don't have to be in your inner circle. We have associates, we have people that we keep outside of our inner circle as well. And that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody kind of know, well, if you're being clear about it and not fake about it, people know their place in your life. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's important. That way you don't have to put on or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here, y'all. Once again, I'm going to go through it real quick. The goals for emotional wellness: becoming more aware of your feelings and accept them as valid indicators of what you are experiencing. Next, develop the ability to experience and appropriately express a wide range of emotions such as humor, joy, fear, anger, and frustration, appreciation, and sadness, etc. We also want to develop assertiveness and confrontation skills. We want to develop positive feelings about yourself by having healthy self-esteem and a healthy self-concept. We want to develop the skills to handle stress and irritation and crises. We also want to explore and clarify our own sexual identity and sexual needs. And we also want to develop, establish, and maintain intimate and loving relationships. All right, you guys. So that is emotional wellness. Please do your research. But I want you guys to definitely take these goals, and I want you to go deeper as your homework. Go deeper and figure out what changes do you need to make in your emotional wellness. What do you need to add to your emotional wellness so that you can continue your journey to being balanced? All right. All right, you guys. I hope that this was helpful. I know I flew by. But y'all let me know. Do y'all want me to keep it long, keep it short? Talk to me. Let me know on social media, or you can let me know in the Q&A. All right. Thank you guys so much for sharing your time with me today. And I'll talk to you in the next episode as we discuss social wellness. Interesting. All right, you guys. I love you guys, and I will talk with you all later. Bye.